Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to Irons United for our latest preview, which of course is coming up against Liverpool on Wednesday evening. I am Anton. I am joined by Alf. Alf, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Very well.
Excellent. Thank you very much for joining us. We had a little bit of a intro there. What we're trying to do is make sure if we're going live, we're bringing people in so they're not missing the start of the shows. And of course, you've seen a lot of myself and Alf over the last few weeks. And yeah, we just had a big shake up on the channel. So hopefully moving forward, we'll have a lot more regular content coming out. So please bear with us. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, get your comments in below. Massive, massive support. Great feedback recently. So thank you very much for joining us. Of course, like I said, we are here for the Liverpool preview. This is the game in hand that Liverpool have been waiting for, I suppose you could say. They have beaten all 18 sides in the Premier League except for West Ham. Do we take anything from that, Alf?
A very slight bit of, I don't know, something to hold on to, I suppose. The last time we met them at home, we drew, was it 0-0?
Yep.
Last season.
Actually, no, I believe it was
last season,
one each. It's actually nearly been a year.
Yeah, it's 4th of February, I think.
4th of February,
yeah. There we go. I'm hoping we can put up some kind of fight.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. I mean, people keep on banging on about the Shrewsbury comeback. I actually didn't see the lineup of Liverpool, but were they playing many of their first team players, or had they rested them?
Yeah, they rested exactly. Pretty much a second side, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So here, this is a real test now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, not for them, for us.
For us,
it's whether we could actually put any kind of fight up, any kind of performance, close them down, and I'm not just talking about for 5 minutes. What I'm actually talking about is for 90 minutes or 95 minutes.
Absolutely.
Because each game that we play now, it's almost like, right, it's either win or go home, basically. And that's the problem that we face ourselves,
Absolutely. So Liverpool can stretch their cushion at the top to 19 points as they aim for their 15th straight win in the Premier League. And like I mentioned, they of course have beaten 18 other sides, and of course have yet to play West Ham. So
they've only drawn one game, haven't they?
Yeah.
And they've won every other game.
Absolutely. But tell you what, though, I mean, what we usually do in these previews is we do talk a lot about Liverpool. But I'm going to park that for a minute because there's been some kind of breaking news over the last this afternoon.
Yeah.
And it looks like West Ham are potentially going to sign a player. Everyone, cheer! Woo!
Yay!
It's about bloody time. So the player in question is, now you've got to help me out with the pronunciation here, Alf.
Yeah, it's Soucek.
Tomas Soucek.
Yeah,
currently.
Soucek. Yeah, Tomas Soucek. Yeah, he's a great player.
Yeah,
really skillful. Gets lots of goals. Distribution is fantastic as well.
24 years old. Czech
24
player. Czech player.
I think you'll find he's 24 years old and 3 months.
Czech player of the year.
Yeah, Czech player of the year.
He's actually got 12 goals and 26 appearances for Slavia Prague this season. And of course, it's got much needed, I suppose you could say, well, I was going to say much needed, Champions League experience also. 6'4", quite the, he's very mobile, he's aggressive, he's a very athletic looking guy, and he's got a strong tenacity. Obviously the sort of guy that can slip in and play beside Declan Rice. Now, if we can get this player over the line by apparently, is it midday, 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon?
Yeah.
He can potentially be available for the Liverpool game.
He could be. I doubt they'll move that quick, and I doubt he'd be in a position to do it. But if it could happen, I'd have him in there straight away.
So
Yeah,
what apparently has happened tonight is the owner of the club, the director of the club, Slavia, has actually put a statement out saying they've released him, not released him from the contract, but released him to go and do a medical.
Yeah.
And he's on his way to do the club. Now, you never know. The fact that he's stated that gives me a little bit of confidence to think that maybe he could be signed in time. And I think you'll see in our title, we've actually put, will he sign in time to play? Because there is always that opportunity. I tell you what, though, Alf, see if he does sign. He's been playing. He's fit. He's match fit. He would need to step into this side and potentially give us fans and West Ham a much needed lift. Now, it feels like we're putting a lot of pressure onto this young lad's shoulders, but
I mean, the question, I mean, actually forever is asked the same question, which I'm thinking as well. If he's that great, why is he coming to us? Why is he coming to us now? Why is he leaving Slavia Prague or wherever he's from? You know, is it a money thing? Is that it, or is there something that we don't know? And I suppose that's what I would look at.
Another thing to maybe think of is maybe the fact that we're probably one of the only teams in the league that are looking for that type of player. So what other team in the league is looking for that kind of box to box that will spend that money this late in the January transfer window? So that's my only kind of saving grace for the signing, to be honest.
I don't know about you, but a box to box player doesn't sound like a 6'4" player to me.
But he is, though. He does. I mean, because can I tell you why? His main role is a defensive midfielder, but he's excelled this year with 12 goals.
Yeah.
So he's showing that he has got the ability to move forward. Now, of course, we know the leagues are very different.
Yeah.
We do know that. But he has played in the Champions League, and he has, I mean, I've got some further stats on him here, which is related to the Champions League, if you can bear with me. So he chopped up 2 goals in 6 European outings this season. He also recorded an average of 2.5 tackles, 2.5 interceptions, and 2.8 clearances in each of those games. So, you know, the guy seems to rise to the occasion. We know what the Czech Republic are capable of producing in terms of players.
Sure.
So, it could be... maybe I'm putting a lot of hopes onto this guy, but I know we need a lot more. Alf.
Oh, yeah. Look, I think nobody's even come out and said, basically, you know, you can't rely on me. You need other players, basically, or you need the existing players to, you know, step up to the mark. Yeah, we've got injuries. Yeah, you know, but you know, it's essentially we need new players, an injection of players all over the pitch. Really, you would imagine. Certainly right back, certainly midfield. I don't know where else. Where do you start? We've talked about this so many times. I mean, we're all saying it until we're blue in the face. You know, defense, midfield, attack.
Yeah,
you know,
but I mean, we're all in the same boat when it comes to the board. We've given you millions of shows over the last week talking about the board. So the key thing is we just wanted to bring. Stell's done a West Ham weekly show, which was out last night, I think it was. So he's done a little bit more in depth on this particular player, but we thought we'd bring you the news that he may sign and possibly sign in time to come into the game. So make sure you check out the weekly show, which we'll talk a bit more about further in transfers. Of course, it's all late. Of course, we should be doing this business so late. But, I mean, if finally the board actually do put their hand in their pockets with, 3 or 4 days to go to bring this player in, I mean, surely to God, they're 3 or 4 weeks too late. Well, you know, why have they not brought him in the first or second week, you know?
Do you give any credence to this notion that the board or Sullivan is listening to the fans now? No, I don't either. I think it's I don't think he's listening at all. No. I don't think any of them are listening. I think that it's all lip service. A lot of this stuff is coming out. It's all lip service.
Absolutely.
You know, but
I suppose. Listen, we'll see if he does sign before. I think the deadline's possibly midday tomorrow. He will be available for the Liverpool game. Whether or not he make Liverpool game's a different ball game. If he does sign this week, I reckon he'll go straight into the starting lineup against Brighton, which will be interesting to see. But of course, we are here for a preview. Alf, let's talk about Liverpool. I mean,
yes, please do.
they're looking unbeatable.
I would never say that against any team that they're unbeatable, because I think any team has a weakness, has some kind of chink in their armor that you can exploit throughout a game. With Liverpool, it's very similar to Man City. The only way you're going to have any kind of success against a team like Liverpool is to actually go not toe to toe in terms of attacking, but you've got to close them down and stop them playing. It's a very much not part of the bus, but it is. You've got to defend all over the pitch, and
Absolutely.
You've got to harass them and force them into mistakes. And basically, any team that is a showcase team, they do not like to be frustrated, and that's our only option. Frustrate the hell out of them, and then we may be able to get something, either a draw or whatever.
Yeah.
But if we try to go toe to toe as naively as I thought Pellegrini tried to do last season at the start of the season, we're going to get spanked 4-0 or maybe more, especially the way they're playing this season.
Are you suggesting then we go pack the midfield out like what a lot of fans always predict? What are you? I mean, I'll tell you what. We'll come on to West Ham in a minute. Let's keep talking about Liverpool in particular. Let's talk about their fullbacks, Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold. I mean, I think collectively between them, they've got 16 assists. They sit in the top 3 players at Liverpool for assists and goals. Yeah. So they're just sometimes unplayable in that position.
Well, they've got the qualities that we lack.
Yep.
Pace, energy, good crosses of the ball. They go up and down. They're good, good at tracking back at defending. They're good at overlapping and taking on and getting to the byline if need be. Yeah. But they're just good. They're just good, really good fullbacks.
And then add that to the fact that between them two, and then add Virgil van Dijk into that equation. Between them, they're the top 3 passers in the side, which shows you the style of players they like playing from the back. The balls always come out through the back line, and they're obviously pushing forward. And there's such a lot of ability and pace in this side.
Sure.
So, yeah, I mean, when it comes to their defence, I mean, these 2 young lads that they found. I mean, let's look at Andrew Robertson. He started his career off in Scotland. He actually wasn't playing that well. I think he was playing for the Queen of the South, struggling in the lower leagues of Scotland. And obviously, through the ranks, I think he played at Dundee and blah, blah, blah. And he's moved now to Liverpool, and he's now won a European League Cup. And now he's obviously in line to potentially win the Premier League. I mean, what an uprising and what a way to develop a player of that ability,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's just this again. It's testament to being able to spot good young talent and then the coaching thereafter. This is not just a Klopp thing. This is just everybody at Liverpool and everybody that is working under Klopp in the coaching department and how they're bringing on. And then basically, playing to a player's strengths and or weaknesses, whichever way you want to look at it.
Keep the comments coming in, guys. Let us know your thoughts on everything we're talking about. I know there's quite a lot of people in the chat room just now, so we'll try and keep up with you. Maybe do some questions and answers. I am
looking down at the comments. Actually, there's some really good ones coming through as well. Just so you all know, I'm reading them, and a lot of what you're saying, I kind of agree, but we'll try and get to them afterwards as soon as we can.
Yeah, of course. When it comes to Liverpool, it looks like Sadio Mane is going to be missing for the game. He picked up a knock against Wolves last week. I think he's a quality player. And that's a position that, I mean, it's really tough to say, but he will be missing Alf. But he's possibly their best player this season, isn't he? Yeah.
Well, he's right up there.
Between him, Firmino and Salah, they've got 30 goals between them. So there's a lot of kind of shared responsibility in the side. But they know that if one player is missing, someone can come in. So it looks like Mane's going to be missing, which of course for West Ham is a positive. But Liverpool full stop isn't a positive for West Ham.
So I mean, who are they going to bring in his place though? Is the thing. Is it going to be what's his name? The Swiss lad. I forgot his name now.
I think. Well, remember they've got the new Japanese guy, Mini. I can't pronounce it. Mini Manino. He looks like a quality, interesting player. But a player I really want to talk to you about is the player that maybe goes under the radar a lot is Robert Firmino. He's banged out. I think he's. Do you know that 8 of his goals this season have actually been won the game for Liverpool. 8 of his goals have actually won.
Well, no, I didn't know that, but I know he's been on fire all season.
He's also the most prolific Premier League goal scorer on the road with 8 goals. And
Shaqiri, that was right. Thank you. Whoever's manning the chat, Shaqiri, that was it.
Shaqiri, yeah. So he's quietly gone about his business. He's a deep lying forward. He's become a specialist on the road, of course. So far, all of his strikes in the Premier League this season have come exclusively away from Anfield, and he'll be keen to add another goal against West Ham.
Yeah.
These 3 guys or 4 guys, and you add Shaqiri to the equation, but it looks like Shaqiri also is going to be missing. He's taken up a knock. That's it looks like Manny, Milner, Nathan Clyne, of course, are injured for Liverpool. Shaqiri and Lovren are questionable for the game. So there's going to be some changes there for Liverpool. And it looks like they can afford changes, though. 16 points ahead, game in hand. Stretch that to 19. How do you think they'll set up against us, Alf?
Well, I mean, they always play with their 3. I don't think they're going to change at all. I think they're just going to go for it, hell for leather.
Yeah.
I think they 3 at the front, and I don't really see much change from them. Actually, they're just going to. The more I think about it, the more I think they're going to rip us apart. I don't know. I mean, I think that, look, they had a real problem a couple of seasons ago in their defence, but they were always great coming forward. But they were just feeble in defence. Then they got Van Dijk in, and all of a sudden it was okay. Problem solved. Got a better keeper in. Problem solved. And now all of a sudden they look like the full package. So once you've got those 3 up front, and you're getting good service to those 3, and then they can serve each other, which is really important. They're not 3 selfish individuals. They are individuals who work for the team and work for each other. I think if anything you could say about Liverpool, who I'm not a fan of, by the way, I in terms of the way they are and the way they play and all that sort of stuff. Well, the way they play I admire, but if there's anything to admire more than the quality of the football, it is the kind of hive-like mentality that they have. They play for each other. They are one with the team, with Klopp. And I think this is the nearest I've seen it. Even Man City, when they were, did the domestic treble last season, I didn't think they were like that because they had lots of times when they could have easily lost games. I haven't really seen that so much this year with Liverpool.
Yeah. And
I think they've come to almost be the complete team in many ways, which is sickening, really.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. It is. Looking at the stats for this season, Liverpool, who are in first place, of course, West Ham 17th. They've won 22 to West Ham's 6. They've drew 1 to West Ham's 5. They've lost none to West Ham's 12. They've got 9 clean sheets to West Ham's 6. It's going to be a tough day at the races, but it's Wednesday night. It's under the lights. We're going to need the fan base to get behind.
Yeah, definitely.
Behind our side, of course. Listen, before we move on to our beloved West Ham, make sure you are subscribing to our channel. We've got someone man in the chat, so get the comments in. He'll interact with you guys as much as possible. We'll get your comments put up. Before the game, we've got people going to be at the West Ham United Supporters Club, official supporters club, which is based at the last drop, just below the funny orbit outside the stadium, closest bar to the stadium. Great location, great West Ham fans, great chat. Get yourself along. If you fancy doing a video, you can do a video. If you don't fancy doing a video, who cares? We'll have a drink and chat with anything to do with West Ham. Great views of the stadium, great company. So make sure you are also checking them out on Twitter and checking them out on Facebook as well. We are, of course, partnered up with Umbro. We've got a really nice competition coming to you guys soon. And in particular, I want to talk about a player, Alf, that's been getting slated a lot, but I've looked into some of the statistics this season. So Manuel Lanzini, we've talked about him, we've cried about him over the last few weeks. Did you know, though, that this season he's the highest creating chances player for West Ham with 17 chances? Key fact, he has created the most chances for West Ham this season, 17, and he's not on form.
I think that pretty much says it all then, doesn't it? That pretty much says it all, that we're not creating enough chances. And if we're seeing Lanzini if the stats are telling us that Lanzini is the best creator, then that is woeful from the rest of the players as well.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the thing is with Lanzini is that, you know, he's had a couple of games where, you know, on another day he could have scored goals, or it could have been, you know, a lot better. But more than that, he's just had lots of lackluster performances, or during the games, even when he's had two or three really good opportunities, for most of the game he's disappeared. So whilst he may have, you know, created a few opportunities, I think he's also gone missing a lot in games as well. And maybe that's why us as fans, you know, whether you're watching it on TV or actually at the stadium, you know, you can see it. You can see it. It's not there.
Yeah. Keep the comments coming in. There's loads there. It's quite tough to manage the chat and bring them up, but we'll keep going on in West Ham. Anderson's missing, although he posted today that he's back in some form of training, but it looks like this game's going to be too early for him.
Yeah.
Masuaku is, of course, missing. Fabianski, Yarmolenko, Ryan Fredericks. Snodgrass is touch and go. I think they're going to give him a late fitness test for the game. We've obviously discussed the potential new signing coming in, but we have to pretend that he is not going to be there.
Yeah.
And if he's not going to be there, what do you take from Noble's comments? We all feel sorry for Noble. Is that him turning around and going? Because he did mention in his quotes that he is getting to a certain age and he's looking to enjoy the last few years of his career. Is that him highlighting the fact that, you know, don't rely on me so much, board, and that his way of, is that his professional way of crying out to the board?
I think it is, actually, and I think he's identifying what many of us fans have identified for a long time. I think he's probably is one of our best players. I'll change that. I think he is our best player over everybody when this is the clause here in the contract, if you like, when he's been rested for about 3 or 4 games, or he's been dropped for a couple of games. When that first game that he comes back, he's brilliant.
Yeah.
You know, he runs all over the pitch. He's putting passes all over. He's usually putting a first-time pass, you know, over the defence. Somebody runs onto, and they almost score or do score. But it's that first game. Yeah. Thereafter, there's he starts to struggle again.
Yeah.
And I haven't always said this. I said it certainly in the last season and a half, possibly I've said it, is that's how we need to use him. Use him for that one game, you know, give him a rest for a couple of games, then bring him in again, you know, and that's the way we should do it. The problem is, you're right, we just use him too much. We've got nobody else.
Yeah.
You know, Sanchez, please.
Well, there's some rumours today kicking about saying that West Ham have sent representatives. We've certainly not sent any scouts anywhere, so we're obviously paying some subcontracting companies to go out and tout his availability to some Spanish clubs. So, yeah, it looks like he might be on the move. I think we're getting comments in saying, they're agreeing with that. Here, Sanchez might be moving. Didn't mean on the pitch, of course not.
But again, it comes down to this, though. This comes down to what we've just been saying about Noble. Okay, so if Noble is struggling, and then we're offloading Sanchez at the same time, we don't bring anybody in straight away, then we're going to be even a worse situation than we're at now. Then you definitely have to go to the youth players. You have to go to the end of the 23s to actually fill the gap now. Yeah. And maybe that's what our team needs. Maybe it's for Moyes to actually say, right, do you know what? We're not getting anybody in, or even if we do get, you know, even a couple of players in, we have to bring up the under 23s now. Absolutely. We have to bring them to the first team squad and get them training with us, and, you know, put them into, you know, instead of having a bench full of defensive midfielders or defenders, actually have a bench that's, you know, you've got players that can play all over the park.
Yep. Absolutely.
You know,
I mean, the last meeting, obviously we're here for the preview. We're talking about West Ham. I'm just going to bring some further stats into this. The last meeting between West Ham and Liverpool dates over a year back to February, which we've discussed. Back then, the two sides finished 1-1, but Liverpool are unbeaten in the last 8 matches with West Ham, recording 4 victories in the process. And of course, West Ham, we'll all know this, conceded exactly 4 goals in 4 clashes prior to the most recent encounter, which isn't great. And it shows maybe the other frailties in West Ham's side, because there's frailties everywhere in West Ham's side, and that's dropping back into the defence, because obviously we've seen not the greatest of performances by Balbuena, and then we're relying on it's not great back there. I know we've said it, and I feel like we're possibly repeating it, but it is the preview, and it makes sense to repeat it. But Randolph, I mean, we can't blame him. He's only back in a couple of games, and it's what do we do with regards to defence? Because again, I've said it all along, all season, inconsistencies is my biggest issue. It happened with Pellegrini, it happened with Bilic, it happened with Moyes last time. It's happening again with Moyes. We expect Moyes to take time to choose his team, to understand his team when he's a new manager coming in. But Alf, how many more times are we going to see inconsistencies in team selection? I listened a little bit to Talk Sport, and you can slag them off, whatever, all that sort of stuff today. And today they were talking about giving players a run of games, and it was as if the guys that were talking have never really watched West Ham, because as much as we may slag off Yarmolenko's of the world, Yarmolenko drops in and out of the side 2 games. He's dropped after 2 games, and then he's on the bench and loses momentum. And the one player we can talk about in particular who did that was Pablo Fornals. He had 8 games where he got 4 assists, 2 goals, and he was dropped. So he's lost momentum. Then he comes back in against West Brom and he's not performing. But that's just absolutely batshit crazy when you think about it. Why would you drop a player on form? It doesn't make sense. It's a typical West Ham way.
I think Moyes has got to look at every player in the squad and actually almost change his thought process now. I know this probably is going to sound a bit odd, but instead of actually looking at the players with quality, he's got to look at the players with pace and energy, and who are actually running and actually trying to bust a gut for the team. We need triers out there. We don't need players who are just passengers, as somebody would say. So Fornals, for me, has started to become one of those, well, not so much pacey, but really energetic players. And I think he would be one of the first on the team sheet.
Yeah,
he would be on there. Okay, we could talk about other players, but it's no point because they're injured. If they're not injured, they come back in fine. Like Anderson, he would have to be first on the team sheet because he's pacey and he's got a bit of energy there as well. Antonio, he'd be another one. He has to be on there. So if we start looking at these players and say, right, what are my options instead of Creswell? Let's say that's just a name out the top of my head, right? Who have we got that can play left back? Well, you got Masuaku, if and when he's available. Or who else you got? Right back, Zabaleta. Who else you got? And so on and so forth. And if you can start looking at it from those point of view and say we've got to have a much better go at these teams and put them under pressure, because if we play against Liverpool like we've been playing, too slow in our build-up, passing not quick and not crisp enough, not enough support, to Haller and all going forward. And our defence is just at 6s and 7s all the time. If we play like that, we are going to get spanked. Yeah. Absolutely spanked.
That's the biggest concern, I suppose, with regards to coming up against a side like Liverpool, coming up against a side like Leicester. I mean, I'll be brutally honest with you guys. I genuinely thought we would have got absolutely smashed against Leicester, after seeing the result against Southampton and seeing how Southampton can pull together. I mean, this is the thing, right? This is the thing when it comes to West Ham. Everything looks all doom and gloom, and it does, and it absolutely does, and I'm not even remotely denying it. But teams can hit a run of form, and all we need is a couple of games and a run of form, and a game like Wednesday night against Liverpool can really be the game changer for the season. Now, I know that's not going to answer all the questions we've got with regards to the board, but if we park that for 1 minute and concentrate on West Ham as a side to stay safe, to survive the Premier League, then of course we need players to come in. I don't think that this player is just enough. No, but if we get some extra players back fit, we get a few more players in, backing up the Moyes, backing up the rest of the side, we've got a chance. We really do. I know people are saying, I've come to terms with the fact that we're going to go down. But there are players there, and they do have they can come up with the goods. And a game like Liverpool, Liverpool can really change our season. And you've just got to think back to, we talk a lot about Leicester on this channel. We're not Leicester football fans, etc. But you've got to think back to the year they were in the Championship, when the last 15, 16 games under Nigel Pearson, Pearson. You know, they were sitting well below or just a little bit below the playoffs.
Oh,
They
sure.
hit form, went to 16 games unbeaten, got promoted to the Premier League, and look what's happened to them. They're just constantly progressing. It could be things like that, you know, that can kickstart.
Yeah, I mean, what is it? I mean, I can't. I mean, you have the table in front of you there, but you know, what's the difference between 5th or 6th in the league and, you know, where we are right now? It's only a handful of points, really. Yeah. You know, it's what I don't know, 9, 10 points. I'm not even sure what it is really.
No, there's a little bit of a gap opened up, only ever so slightly in terms of. I'm just getting it up here. So West Ham sits 17th in 23 points. Then above us is Aston Villa, Brighton on 25, and then 14th place is Newcastle on 30. So of course there's like 5 teams sitting on 30 points. West Ham on 23. So things can change very quickly.
Yeah, it's basically, if we over the next 4 games that we can pick up any kind of points, right? We could see ourselves start jumping up the league quite quickly.
Yeah,
up the table. I mean, quite quickly. But these are big ifs, aren't they? You know, we got Liverpool twice, Man City. But actually, do you know what? They don't actually worry me so much because I haven't really got great expectations. But what I want from those are committed performances. And I said it in my show the other night. So if you got committed performances, then you can take that goodness from that game, if you like, and carry that forward into the other game. The one that really worries me is the Brighton game. Actually, that's the one where I think it's going to be so much pressure on us, and as a fan base, we're all looking at that game thinking we've got to get 3 points from that game. We've got to win it, and I just don't think because we haven't got a great track record against Brighton, of course. I just don't think it might be a bit too much to ask. But they're struggling as well. I'm like, you know,
they are. But the difference is between Brighton, I suppose, and West Ham right now is when Brighton are struggling, they come together and they can get something out of it.
Yeah.
Whereas recently, in recent weeks or maybe in recent months, we've seen not really a unity between West Ham players, the West Ham squad, the West Ham fans, top to bottom. There's no form of unity between West Ham at all. So, and now you're starting to hear, for the first time in a long time, you're starting to hear neutral fans, pundits that are starting to be aware of West Ham's situation. You know, you always felt like we were talking about it and no one's really understanding. Sure. And I listened, like I said, on the way home from work tonight, Talk Sport, and whether you like it or not.
Well, you know, Talk Sport watch our channel as well, don't you?
Well, I wouldn't be. I mean, I don't know.
No, they do. Yeah. They do. Yeah, they called me the other day and say, you know, can we use all your stuff? I said, yeah, if you pay me.
Yeah.
If you pay me, I said, well, don't feed Moose anything. I said, eat enough to as it is.
It does. It certainly does. But the thing is, though, even like their most prone guys, I mean, we know they're there to cause controversy. We know they're there to make people ring up and cause it. But today was the first time I ever really heard them turn around and go, do you know what, guys? Like, you are struggling. You've got 4 days to save your season, and that's probably the way to look at it. We've only really got 4 days to save our season and potentially save the current West Ham that we have. Because if not, and if we go down, we've stated this before, Alf, can't afford to go down. We might not come back up, and we're just setting ourselves back years and years and years and years and years. You said earlier on, the board listening. I don't think they are, but I do think they have a mindset into when potentially. I mean, I don't know, unless I'm absolutely gone crazy. I mean, surely to God they ain't giving this club to their boys. Surely they're not going to give their club to their club.
I mean, it's always been said, doesn't it? That always been thought by us fans that, you know, but the board have basically done just the bare minimum for us just to keep us in the league. And they failed once when we went down. Lucky that we came back up straight away, you know, with Sam. But I wouldn't say that was a stellar season for us to come back up. You know, we I wouldn't say we chanced it, but you know, we got back up, thankfully.
Yeah.
And ever since then, we've just been doing enough, and last season at the Upton Park, I get all that, but you know, most of the time it hasn't really been that great, especially since moving.
Yeah.
And again, now we know we've been in trouble for a long time. We know we've been struggling with the squad for a long time, and they just haven't done anything about it. We're right at the end of the window. And somebody said in the comments earlier on, I forgot who it was, they said, well, how long is it going to take for this player, if we get him, this Soucek or Soucek or whatever, how long is it going to take for him to, get match fit and hit the ground running? Will he even fit into the Premier League pace? Will he even be able to cope? So many unknowns. So we could get all these players now, and they probably won't, be good enough for another month or so.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. By then, it's too late.
Let's get on to team selection. Listen, while we're talking about team selection, you write in the comments, and we will at the end quickly review the comments, any questions that were there. But please get in your team selection in there. I'm going to ask kind of quick fire questions to Alf. Antonio's looking like he's going to be fit. Would you play Antonio with Sebastian Haller, or would you swap them and put Antonio up top himself?
No, I'd put them two together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If this new player does sign, would you start him?
If he signs and he's fit as well, properly fit, match fit, yes, I would. I would give Noble not a pass, but I'd put him on the bench.
Yep.
Yeah. And Sanchez can stay at home.
Would you play Balbuena or drop him?
Oh, he had such a poor game, didn't he?
He did, but he's not a poor player.
No, exactly. That's why, because I kind of said, I'm a fan of his, really. But he has such a poor game.
He had a really bad game.
Oh, terrible. But then again, who hasn't had a bad game? But him, it was... Oh, I would say, do you know what? I think it's time that he redeemed himself, so I would keep him in. I know it's going to be controversial because other people said, no, what? But I don't know, I would. Because I'd have him and Ogbonna as a better partnership than Diop in there. Yeah. It depends what formation Moyes comes out with a five. If he comes out with a five at the back, let's say, I wouldn't have Krez in that back three. I would actually play Diop, Balbuena, and Ogbonna there.
Yeah.
And if we're gonna play Cresswell, then we play Cresswell on the left, of course. And if we're gonna have Zabaleta, we play him on the right. Pack out that defense. Then you say, right, okay, what do you do about Haller and Antonio? Well, you don't have to, strictly speaking, have them side by side, but you can have almost like a 1-1 situation. They sort of feed off each other and run off each other. Then you got to look at midfield. It's going to be a lot of space in there to try and stop Liverpool.
Yeah.
So it almost becomes like either push higher and make an 8-man midfield, if you know what I mean, or sit back and have a 8-man defense.
Yeah.
But either way, you've got to have like a wall across so Liverpool can't get through.
I get the point. I get it. And maybe I'm just going against the grain because that's just what I do. But I'm not a massive fan of parking the bus. I really don't think West Ham are actually capable of parking the bus. I actually find that if West Ham invite, I'm not saying you're saying yourself, but I'm seeing a lot of comments coming in, and I know Max Man in the chat, so he's given his kind of suggestion there of 6-3-1. I just think that is murder for West Ham. There's a murder. What is that show? That famous TV show?
Taggart.
There's been a murder, But I do think I think that is going to be, suicide for West Ham, to be honest. And I think it's going to cause us a lot of problems if we invite them to play, because they can play. So why are we inviting a team to come and play? I'm not saying we go toe to toe. I don't know what we do, but the point is, if we invite a team that can play, who can pass the ball around, who have built their whole season on teams turning up and going, yeah, let's park the bus. They've got enough talent in there that will smash us to pieces. They'll absolutely tear us apart, and that's my biggest concern if we do go the defensive manner. Alf, when was the last time West Ham played over the top defensive and it ever went our way?
Yeah.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work for me, and that's why I completely agree with you. I'm not saying it will happen, but
the last time I saw it work for West Ham, I'm going into the memory banks here, is under Sam Allardyce, when I think Chelsea came, or we went over to Stamford Bridge, and we literally just sat on the 18-yard box, and they couldn't break us down. And I think that's where That's where Mourinho had his famous rant against West Ham parking the bus and everything.
Yeah.
And Sam Allardyce was just laughing at him. It's just so, well, you couldn't beat us. That was the last time I've seen it work. Now, I'm certainly not suggesting we do that, by the way. All I'm suggesting is that you've got, okay, this is what I'm talking about. You know, when we play in the middle, you've got Rice in the middle, right? Let's say on the right. I mean, who are you going to have on the right-hand side there? Let's say if you're playing a three-man midfield. Fornals. Yeah? Sorry, who?
Fornals.
Left side?
If you're playing a three-man midfield?
Yeah.
Snoddy? I mean, basically, if you look at the side we've got up on the screen just now from Duzzy O'Dear, I mean, if you look at that kind of midfield, that's probably what you're suggesting, is it not?
Yeah, yeah.
Snoddy, Noble, Rice, Fornals.
Yeah, apart from Noble, I wouldn't have Noble there.
Yeah, apart from Noble.
Is Snoddy fit again? I thought he was still.
Well, I think it's touch and go. To be honest,
okay.
I think that's the other problem. Yeah.
Let's say he is fit, then I'd have them in. I'd have the two triers, Snodgrass and Fornals, Rice holding it in midfield with a bit of distribution as well, and then Antonio and Haller up front. Now, the reason why I say three in midfield is this: you got the five at the back, but you got Zabaleta and you got Creswell, who almost have to play in between midfield. They have to move forward. They have to move forward to support the midfield three. And we need to step up as well. As soon as we start stepping back, that's it. You know, we're just going to be under the cosh. If we step up too far with no press on their midfield, you know, from the likes of Rice, Fornals and Snodgrass, then all of a sudden what's going to happen is they're just going to, break through us quite easily.
Yeah.
So if we put pressure on them, in midfield with the three being supported as outlets by the two on the side, and also being pushing up with the three at the back, then we compress the midfield and we frustrate the hell out of them in midfield. And I tell you what, Moyes, listen to me. I know what I'm talking about. It works for my under-14s team that I coach.
Well, Moyes, we know you're looking for staff, and he's only got Alan Irvine and one goalkeeping coach in his side. So
put me in there, coach.
Yeah,
put me in there.
Alf was begging for a job. He'll do it voluntarily as well. You know, we know you don't like paying West Ham. We know you don't like paying people. So, listen,
bloody, I tell you what, I would be horrible to them. Absolutely horrible. Can you imagine it? Can you imagine any of us fans going in there? It would be a bit like it was that England manager fella, Bassett. What's his name?
Roy Bassett, was it?
What's his name? He went into the changing room and had a right fit at them. Yeah, it'd be like that. Yeah.
So listen, before we go, I actually think a lot of people think Lanzini won't start, but I genuinely think he will. I really do think he'll start this game, because I think that Moyes wants this man. You know, we've signed him up to a new contract, and he ain't going to bench him left, right, and centre. You know, because if he is going to be sold in the summer, he is going to have to be in the shop window. So the one's going to get as much money as possible. But equally, if we can get a Lanzini playing back on form, then that's what they want. So you never know. Let's see what happens with the team selection. It's going to be tough for us to sit here and choose. But before we go on to all the comments there, Alf, let's get predictions in. Get your predictions in the comments over there.
Right.
Before you do it, you have to do me a massive favour. We've got a lot of people in the chat. A lot of people are watching live. Quickly nip up, hit the thumbs up. We'd like you to hit the thumbs up. When the video is finished, go back into the comments and let us know so everyone can see the visual comments, not the live comments. Hit that subscribe button, please. We want you to hit that subscribe button because we want as many West Ham fans to see all this stuff that we're doing, producing for you. We've got loads more stuff coming out for you in due course, so please get it in.
That's right. We want Talk Sport to keep on stealing our stories. That's what it is.
Please make sure you get your comments in. Please make sure you get your predictions in. Alf, predictions, Wednesday night, Liverpool. I can't wait to show you some of these comments that are coming through. Predictions for Wednesday night.
Does he 8-0?
Yeah, he's pretty 8-0,
yeah. 8-0. Oh, I love what you're drinking, mate. I'll tell you what, I will go for a very hard-fought 1-1 draw.
Right.
A very hard-fought 1-1 draw. There you go, forever blowing bubbles. You know, he agrees with me.
Yeah.
We've got to meet up again, by the way. Come down to the supporters club. Come and see us down there.
Definitely, mate. You know they've moved from the last location from the Stour, so they're over at the. Sorry, I can't keep laughing at all these comments that are coming in.
Oh, okay. So David and James are saying 5-0. I think they're both saying 5-0.
Hold on, we've got Lewis Mallon saying 3-2 to West Ham. We've got David saying 5-0 to Liverpool. We've got James saying 5-0 to Liverpool. And Joan has come in. Hi, Joan. Oh, Alf. I so hope you are right.
I am right, Joan. I have faith.
Well,
don't have faith in the squad. Don't have faith in Moyes. Have faith in me.
Have faith in my prediction because I'm predicting West Ham 2, Liverpool 0. It's happening. It is happening. But I refuse, Alf, to predict anything else other than I can't help it. So
I'm the same. I'm the same, but I'm trying to be real. I've been called a deluded old git for too long, and I'm trying to be a bit more reasonable.
Yeah.
But I was with you. I was going to say a 2-0 or a 2-1, but I just succumbed to peer pressure, I'm afraid. So 1-1.
1-1, 2-0 West Ham. Listen, I might be in dreamland. I'm not actually drinking right now. I'm about to go and have a cup of coffee and a banana. I'm trying to eat healthy, so maybe the banana's gone to my head. I think we've got some crazy person in the chat room right now. I think it's
let's stay on a little bit longer. Look, Paul has just said, "I love your sense of humour." That's you. Yeah. That's aimed at you, and I love your sense of humour.
Joan, let me just remind you, and I'm going to bring up a comment here. Anton once said, Newcastle 0, West Ham 3, and he was right. And I'm going to remind everyone when I said that West Ham were on one of the worst runs in the Premier League. And through that, Alf had to do something which he didn't want to do because he was laughed at me. He laughed in my face live on camera, and he's doing it again, and all of you are doing it again. So let's just hope and let's see.
I've learnt my lesson. If you notice all your recent predictions, I keep on saying, "Oh yeah, you might have a point there." Oh yeah, I wish I'd said that. Oh yeah, I was just about to. I wasn't really going to say 2-0, of course, but anything to agree with you, Ant.
James has just written there, maybe some mushrooms, Anton. Well, how did you know I had some mushrooms for lunch and for dinner? And I'm about to chomp on some mushrooms again.
Jazz Winder says 2-2.
Yeah, Jazz.
I can't see us scoring 2 goals, but yeah, I'm hoping for a draw. Any kind of draw, it'd be better.
I think we've got a weird person in the group, but we've got rid of them now, so we'll get rid of that. Listen, let's go back in.
It'd be weird. Go on, let yourself run free. It'd be wild.
Let's get into some of the comments here. Well, before we go, because we are going to tie this up, it says here, Jazz, I've been on a low-carb diet this month but couldn't resist anymore and have eaten a nice triple choc cookie caramel. And then I'm about to eat a bar pint. What are you talking about, Jazz? Where did that come from? Liverpool legends would beat us at the moment. Rush and Beardsley would tear us apart. Stephen White, yeah, they would.
They probably would, actually.
Jazz, Lanzini is finished. Jazz, I'm not going to agree with you on that. And I suppose as West Ham fans, we're entitled to our own opinion. I don't agree with it. I think he's just hit a really bad run of form. And
where would you say Lanzini's best position is?
The best position that every player is right now in the hole behind the strikers. But
so here's my question then: if we do play him in his, or if Moyes, not we, if Moyes plays him in his best position, who do we drop up front? Haller or Antonio?
None.
Who do you drop?
None.
So you'd have 2 with him in the hole?
Yep. Well, I wouldn't actually. That's a lie because I would have Anderson in the hole. So I would play Lanzini.
Yeah, but Anderson is not fit.
I know.
Unless he's coming back.
Well, I don't know. I'm not ready for that question. Maybe we should have a gift of the gab coming up, and I'll come back to you with that question.
I'll tell you what. I will let everybody know who I would drop. Haller. And I would have Lanzini there and just play it like a 1-1. Just have Lanzini there and say, feed Antonio. Just feed the ball. Feed the ball.
Can I say something to you actually on that? You've actually now clicked something in my brain. Moyes is responsible for the Antonio. It's not Antonio, the Arnautovic, progression up front and creating this sort of player. I said when he came back that I wouldn't be surprised if we see him try something similar with Felipe Anderson. Unfortunately, Felipe Anderson has been injured and is out injured, but I could actually see his pace working up top. And he just, there's a comment up here now from Jazz. He said, Anderson is our best player, but looks average as the rest of the team is slow to move into space to receive his passes. Jazz, I could not agree with you any more. I feel so sorry for Anderson. And yeah, he might be getting paid shitloads of money. I think he gets a hard time all the time. But when you absolutely dissect his game, I don't play in that position. I never have played in that position. But when you've got a player who is fast thinking, who gets the ball, who looks up, looks forward and sees nothing. His game is not used to playing the ball back. He's not used to looking around and seeing players not running around, not making darting runs. It frustrates me. And the biggest game he got frustrated in was Sheffield United. And he was quick thinking, moving forward, and no one was backing the guy up at all.
But he's also had lots of opportunities when he's either come in on goal or he's actually got to the byline and there were bodies in there and he hasn't crossed. Or he's just come past the 18-yard line and he's had an opportunity for a quick cross and he hasn't done it.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's totally blameless there.
Vinny in, 2 up front. I prefer Jetty and Antonio. Like to see it. Yep. Never know. See what happens. Forever blowing bubbles. Thing is, we play slow, and when we get the chance to attack Liverpool, we need to be quicker. Yeah, I couldn't.
Where are you seeing these comments? I've lost them.
I'm putting them up on the screen, Alf.
Are they from behind? Before?
Yeah. I'm going right back.
Okay, I'm looking at the most recent ones. There we go.
We're gonna just. Cautious that we're nearly at an hour, guys. So
look, here we go. Look, Paul Spencer here, right at the end. Okay, should we just end it with this? And I think this is the most uplifting that we can be, the most positive we can be. So I just hope we go for it. Nothing to lose. Hopefully, we won't go up there and roll over.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yep.
None of us want to roll over and have our bellies tickled, do we? Especially from those Reds up there.
But Paul, we don't go up there until 2 or 3 weeks from now. So we're at home for the game on Wednesday night.
I think you're saying this game and then go up there and roll.
To lose, hopefully.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever you mean, Paul. I agree. That's right.
Yeah.
Let's get at them.
I think there's a few more. Joan said she's putting my prediction on. So good on you, Joan. Let me know what the odds are in the comments.
Don't do it, Joan. Don't trust Anton's predictions. Don't trust him.
I think they know Brighton is more important. Can't see much effort. That's from Raymond D.
Wow. Okay.
Debo.
This is the other question. Are they going to start, or is Moyes going to say, right, this is damage limitation here, guys. Don't try too hard. Let's say put all our eggs in, for Brighton. I hope he bloody well doesn't do that. I really don't, because that would really pee me off. But
yeah, absolutely.
There we go.
James Thorne, Moyes has just slept with Lanzini's girlfriend. I don't think he's Alan Pardew.
No.
Lewis Malin Cullen should be recalled, and people are agreeing with him saying he should come back. But I think he's just signed an extension to his Charlton loan, so I can't see that happening, to be honest. Lots of comments in there. We could be here all night trying to do it. So
Joan has put another one here. This is a great one. Enjoying the positivity, lads. Well, thank you, Joan. That's really, really nice of you to say so. And yes, I always like to be positive. Anton's a negative one. I'm the positive one. But I will say this. How good will we feel if we get a result? Well, I'll tell you how good we'll feel. Yes! That's how good we'll feel. And I haven't even been drinking. So that's it. My positivity starts right here.
Yeah, reset button. Let's see what we can do. We may have a new signing coming in tomorrow. He may be available for the game on Wednesday. Like I said to you, thanks very much for contributing during this chat show. Keep the comments coming in. Once this video is up, officially away from live, make sure you jump quickly back into the comments and say your thoughts, everything you're saying, so other people who don't watch this live get to see what you're saying. Interact with the fans, hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we've got a website, we've got everything going on. Alf's on Twitter, he's got another channel, have a look at that. Get involved with us all. We're at the Supporters Club. Make sure you support them. Great location, closest part to the stadium. Great laugh. We all like rum and coke, so make sure you get them ordered in. A couple of beers as well. That'll be cool. I'm only joking.
What? Rum and coke?
Yeah, Alf likes is very sophisticated, so he likes his wine.
No mixers. No mixers.
Listen, see him over there. Where are you? Him right there. He's been Alf, me, Anton.
My camera's the wrong way around again. So
I know, it's the same. Make sure you get behind the side. This has been Irons United. Come on you irons.
Up the hammers.
Up the